But probably the most useful thing you'll have in this entire webinar is this thing down here. You can turn your pointer in PowerPoint into a pen, and then you can actually draw on PowerPoint, and this is incredibly useful. You can choose the color as well. It comes up in red, but I'll change it to blue. It's slightly less gruesome. The other thing that's really helpful for keeping people in your session is to poll the group. That means you agree with the group that you, every 15 to 20 minutes, will, in a random order, just ask everybody, how are they, or what's their question, or something along those lines. And then they know that at any point you could say, Alison, what do you think? And it's really interesting that you don't get the sort of questions of like, oh, could you just repeat that question? You know very well that somebody's completely oblivious except when they heard their name, and then they tune back in. So poll the group regularly and let them know it'll be in random order. Stylus. Somebody's saying loving the pen and writing live, and lots of people are wondering what on earth I'm doing. So I have this graphics tablet. It's not a snazzy thing. It's 50 quid from Amazon. It was hundreds when I bought it years ago. But you'll see, as I move my stylus on the tablet, it moves around, and if I put it down, I can actually write. It's sold out on Amazon, this tablet. If you have a touch screen laptop, you can use that. If you have an iPad that you're presenting, or any other tablet that you're presenting from, I tend to say iPad as I have one myself, then you can use that. But writing on the screen really helps, and you can draw as well. And it just makes it a bit more human, which is probably the ultimate message of my session today. Remember the people in your group, as well as yourself. You're all human, and that's so important. To think about. So first of all, what's your mindset in all of this? So there are some people still who try and work with others in a command and control way. You may get away with it in micromanaging, but actually, guess what? It does not work virtually. People disengage really quickly if you try and do command and control. I think potentially when you're in crisis mode or needing to do something really fast and everybody's signed up to it, like the people building the Nightingale hospitals, perhaps it might work, but a much more facilitative leadership style and the mindset is much more likely to work virtually. I talked about starting with yourself. Know your own personality. Are you introvert or extrovert, for example, and all the other aspects of your personality. Know what they are. Biases, as far as you can, many of them are unconscious. What are your preferences? If you prefer speaking on the phone and all your team prefer something different, it might be tricky. So think about preferences. What are your strengths that you can bring to it? What are the weaknesses that other people can cover for you? And think about the others that you're working with. How can you work with their personalities and yours, of course? What about their biases, their preferences, their strengths, and how can their strengths overcome your weaknesses? Other things that work are visuals. So you may have noticed, and I think, so simple visuals. You don't want words covered in slides. You want to be drawing things. I think moving visuals that are created as you go really, really help. And in a slide or two, I'll show you how you can draw some simple things. I think I've got a few more minutes left. And the other one is faces. A bit like people will switch into and little people, babies will hone in on faces. We like faces too. And so let's move on and just show you a couple of things. So visuals, I've got so many people nagging me about visuals that I do have a site which is free, and it sends you something for 3 months that you can practice, splits it down. So visuals are really important, and you can draw. In fact, grab a bit of paper, let's have a go. People always say the hardest thing to draw are people, if you have to draw it in front of others. So just have a go at drawing a little squiggle, because there are ways of drawing squiggles. In fact, draw 3, and let's turn them into people. These are fail-safe people that actually look reasonable. Add a head, you don't need a neck, just a little space above. And then you can have some legs and some arms. Look, it really quite looks like a person. So with this person, let's have them with their hands in the air. And perhaps they are jumping. Maybe. What about this person? You can represent all sorts of things. Let's have them riding a bicycle. As long as you just draw the essence, always add a word underneath to help. As long as you just draw the essence, you don't need to add in eyes, nose, mouth, ears. You can communicate. And there you are, there's a tip for you. Hope you like that.
Which is quite cool. So that really is it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Penny, for a very practical and inspiring talk. And I hope to see you all back here next week for another PyQ webinar. Thanks very much and goodbye.